All right, guys, we're going to do something a little different this time. It's not really an unboxing, but it is a recap of knives sent in from Aussie Mike. I thought it'd be kind of fun just to kind of go through, before I box all these back up and ship them down to Australia, to go through what we had. So this was one of four from Brass Brigade. And I've done videos on all of these. And so I just thought I'd pull them out, take a quick look at them, and also talk a little bit about the shipping down to Australia. So what we do is, this is a Blork Blades. What we do is we actually use a freight forwarder. There's a place in Florida that I will box everything up here tomorrow or tonight and send it off to Florida, where they will repack everything, re-inventory and catalog it, and then send it off to Australia. This is a Cultratech. This is an amazing knife. I don't really love the flipper action, but the bearings, I mean, this thing is like, it's just, I wish I could explain that feeling through the camera. This is a crazy knife, and it is super, super crazy sharp. Cultratech is very cool. Alex over at the Watch and Cut channel turned me onto them to begin with. Mike picked this one up. So we send it to the freight forwarder. They are super familiar with all of the customs paperwork that is required to go to Australia. I have sent stuff to Mexico, no problem, many times. I have sent stuff to New Zealand, no problem, many times. I started to look at the paperwork for Australia, and there were so many things to do. I was like, Mike? Mike says, dude, just ship it over to my freight forwarder, and they'll take care of it. So I'm going to box these up and send them over to him. This is a Rake Knife. This one is pretty cool. No hardware. You have to kind of pop this out, and then you get to the hardware. There's hardware. It's just this black piece kind of clips over the hardware. It's kind of a unique way of doing it. And I did show that in the full video of that knife. Something else from the Brass Brigade. This is a 3-inch gripper, a full custom gripper made by SG Knives in Indonesia. Not my favorite. I mean, Jason's a cool dude, and we've chatted a lot, so I don't want to talk smack about it or anything, but I just don't love this design. That's all. Jason's still a cool dude. We're still good and all that, but it's not my favorite design. And that is one of the true customs, which they didn't make that many of. So we got a couple other things here. Again, this is just kind of a filler video because, well, I'm between knife shipments. This is the Arcane Designs Praytheon. I actually really like this knife. This is the only Arcane Design knife that I have handled and like. So it did come with some additional hardware. It came with Timascus inlays, Timascus backspacer, Timascus inlay over there. But in talking to Aussie Mike, he said he really was going to leave it in black, but if I wanted to take it apart and switch it around, I could. So I decided just to leave it with the black carbon fiber. But yeah, this is actually a really cool knife. This one is one that I would consider adding this to my collection. And it's for sure the only Arcane design that I would ever own. Because it's a cool one in any material. And it does come in different blade steels and things like that. This CCKS 2023 spring special. This is the Shiro, is the F95? I think it is the F95. Yeah, it's the F95T for Turtle. Yeah, I'm a big Shiro fan now. Not just because of this, but because of some of the custom division ones that Mr. Ed sent in. And I ended up buying a RJ Martin Shirogorov collaboration, the soft overkill from Mr. Ed. But this one, yeah, super, super smooth. Yeah, just a great knife. I'm sure Mike is going to really, really love this one. Just set that off to the side here. This is a EDC EMP EDC. Is it right? EMP EDC. I don't remember the model of this one. What is it called again? The Relative. This was a cool one also. I don't love the non-flipper tab. It does have, you can do it this way, which the reverse flip is kind of my least favorite, followed by the front flip. Those are my two least favorites. So that's why I don't love this knife, but I do like it. I wish it had a flipper tab, even if it was like a top flipper thing. I wished it had that because that would be more interesting to me. All right, so yeah, what's really cool is I also want to talk about Aussie Mike and everybody that loans stuff into me. Aussie Mike for sure. All of these are brand new. He's never seen these before. They're not all brand new, but they are all brand new to him. So some of these are absolutely brand new. Some are used that he bought on the secondary market. Okay. And he had them shipped to me. And then I get to handle them for a while. Passed them off to a therapeutic edge. This is the Spyderco Black Mamba, I think is what they call this one. Again, I did videos on all of these. Maybe I should put together a Aussie Mike playlist. Maybe. We'll see. That sounds like a lot of work to go through and search all the videos and figure out which ones were which. This upswept Persian style blade, not my style at all. I can appreciate it because it's cool, but not something I would own for sure. So yeah, Mike has not seen any of these. So it's going to be months. I've had some of these and he's not seen them. This is the George Mueller, and I don't remember the number, but it's a cool one. South African knife, so you know I'm going to like it. It's not perfect. George Mueller is he's a really good craftsman, but he's probably one of my least favorites in South Africa. Yeah, his designs and stuff don't speak to me necessarily like some of the other South African makers do. So I really appreciate Aussie Mike being without his knives for, 3, 4, 5, 6 months maybe at the time, by the time it's all said and done. This is a Vero Engineering. Which one is this one? I always get these confused. It is the Isotope from the first run. This one I just don't like. The flipper tab does not really work for me at all. I have to really position my fingers in just the right area on the back to avoid the lock bar, avoid the clip. It's going to work 1 out of 5 times for me. It does do the reverse flick just fine, but since I hate that method of opening, this is not a knife for me. Most of the Veros are not a knife for me, honestly, but I can still appreciate them. And this one is done really well. Other than that flipper, like lock pressure, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it just doesn't work for me. It might work for you. And if it does, that's great. But just something to be aware of. This is the Jaeger MV2 from Brown Knives. Not my style. So Aussie Mike and I do not necessarily have the same style of knives. It's a cool knife, but not my style. Aussie Mike bought this because he loves the carbon fiber on here. It's a beautiful, beautiful carbon fiber. So I can appreciate it, but again, not my style of knife. Peter Martin. I love Peter Martin. I think this is a beautiful knife. It's a little upswept Persian stylish for me. And at some point I will own a Peter Martin. This is not the model that I love of him. I don't remember which model number this is, but he does make one, the QSB, I believe it is. That's the model that I love. Yeah. I had forgotten that Mike sent me this one. They've literally been in a box, and then they were at Therapeutic Edges for a month or so. And so, yeah, this is just a beautiful, beautiful knife. All right, I think there's one more here in the box. There were a couple of other things in the box too. There's a Lynch clip for a Spyderco. There's a hat from Max Ace, like a baseball cap. There is just some other little accoutrement things. So this is the Hive 2.0. This is a cool knife, although I wished it was not mirror polished on that edge of the blade. Other than that, I kind of like it. It's a little bit on the futuristic side for me, but all in all, it is pretty cool. The Damascus inlays are great. Love the milling on the pocket clip and on the back here. The milling here on the blade is super cool. Let's see if that shows up. And again, I did videos on all of these. But yeah, just a super cool knife that I probably wouldn't own because of that mirror polish on it. But the cool thing about Max Ace is it does come with a full supply of additional hardware. Pivots, spacers, screws, everything you need, which I really appreciate. That tells me that, to me, that's a sign of quality. There was a bunch of comments when I did, I think it was this video or maybe a different Max Ace video, that was a sign of weakness. They knew that their stuff was going to fall apart, so they gave you extra parts and all that stuff. And I'm like, no, not the case at all. So anyway, Aussie Mike, thank you very much. I hope I answered some questions. These will all get boxed up. They will go to a freight forwarder in Florida. I think they're going to hook up with some other knives that Aussie Mike has shipping directly to the freight forwarder. They will box it up. They will catalog everything. They will repack it, do all the customs paperwork to get into Australia, and then they send it to Australia. And it still takes maybe a month before Mike will see these. So today is March 13th that I'm filming. I'm going to try to get these boxed up and shipped out on the 14th, maybe the 15th of March. And then Mike will get them in about a month, maybe 3 weeks. So it's a long process. So this is going to be super cool for Mike. Also did this video to kind of remind him of all the knives that he has here from me. Because he's forgotten, as I did. I totally forgot there was a Peter Martin in there. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Is this kind of a cool thing with a recap like this, or is it too much? I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. Have a great day, guys, and thanks for watching.